Hello. Oh my goodness. In today's grocery audit, she has to stop doing this now. And I mean immediately. I was totally shocked when I looked at her footage and I was just shaking my head because I was like, girlfriend, please. Today, guys, we are doing a grocery audit with Annie, and she sent me some really good footage. And so I hope you guys will learn a lot on this video today. Let's get started.
Okay, so this is my pantry. On top, we have a few of the corn chips and different snack items that our family can eat with the different dietary needs that we have. We try to encourage the right portions, that way they last a little bit longer. This is my baking shelf. And this is my baking shelf, but I'm steering away from baking just a bit as we're dealing with some glycemic issues, pre-diabetes, and a couple of the family members. So we are trying to find a way to either bake with more protein. It's very difficult when you can have milk or eggs. And so we are looking for ways to kind of protein up any baking items so that it doesn't raise blood sugar too high.
Okay, so she is doing really super good so far with her pantry. So apparently they have some major food allergy sensitivity issues. So no eggs, no dairy, no nuts, very little sugar. What was the other thing? Seems like there was another one. No eggs, dairy, sugar, and I think maybe no gluten. I can't remember. I think maybe no gluten also. So she's right to go ahead and stop using as much baking as she can. I would just do it occasionally. Now, this is unorganized because she just had back surgery. So as I'm going through this, I was like, girlfriend, you have to stop this now. And I'm going to show you why here in just a minute.
And then this is my spice shelf. It is a mess. I do buy my spices in bulk. I have found that to be much cheaper. Sometimes I will find things on clearance, and so I will go and buy, say, things from like Walmart or the Dollar Tree, and they are here, and I need to do a better job of getting some things organized. I just had surgery, and so I haven't been in a capacity to lift or do a lot of things for a bit, and I'm still on restrictions. So, and then down here, oh, I hate showing you all this. Is so messy.
All right, guys, listen, type 1 if your pantry is messy, and if your pantry is perfectly organized, would you please type 2? Really, Annie, your pantry really is not that bad. And so I really wouldn't be worried about it. I will show you one thing that I did notice here, and that is the butter flavored Crisco. Can you guys see it right down there? She has several containers of butter flavored Crisco. Now that stuff has gotten stinking expensive. I mean, ridiculously expensive. So I would cut the butter flavored Crisco and I would get this butter flavor. I just buy mine on Amazon, but you can usually find it at Walmart or something like that. And yes, thank you guys. See, the majority of people say their pantry is disorganized. I know, it just seems like it's the way it is, isn't it? But I would get this butter flavored shortening or butter flavored extract. Well, it's not really an extract, but just flavoring, and add that to regular generic store brand shortening. And that will cut your cost in half. As a matter of fact, you have probably 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, probably between $70 and $100 in shortening. And you could cut that down to 40, if you got it on sale, about $40 to $50. So that is one tip for you there.
Our wraps and different things. Sometimes if I'm in control of the snacks, I will get like snack bags and make those up, but I just haven't been in a position to lift or get to those things. But that's one way that we can also help with the snack time being not so expensive.
Okay, so I am wondering, because she said, okay, if I'm in control of the snacks. She has 3 college-age kids still living at home. I think all boys, I'm not positive. But why are you doing that? You just had back surgery. It is not up to you to be dealing with college students' snack issues. They can be dealing with their snack issues. And let me tell you, right here, stop buying unlimited snacks. I am noticing a trend as I'm watching grocery hauls and things like that in other people's YouTube videos. 50%, if not, some of them are 70% of these hauls are just snacks. Stop buying unlimited snacks. In our house, you get 1 bag of chips. The whole family gets 1 bag of chips per week, and that's it. Unless nachos is on the menu for dinner. Then I'll get 2 bags of chips, because then the nachos are used as part of a dinner, or the tortilla shells or tortilla chips are used as part of dinner. But guys, this whole buying snacks and eating all day long is absolutely crazy. Now, she says her kids seem to be fairly reasonable with that. But when she said the phrase, when I'm in control of the snacks, that really sent off red flags that this should not be something that you're having to regulate for them. They are adults. They should be able to regulate their own snacks. You just don't buy it when they're at home. Now, I understand they're all college age, in college and that kind of thing. So I'm not saying they have to buy their own snacks or whatever, but if they go over the limit that you've set for your budget, then that's it. So I would say stop buying unlimited snacks. Sure.
We need your help reaching 400,000 subscribers. Would you please hit that subscribe button? If you are loving these videos, give us a thumbs up and a like, and hit that notification bell if you want notices on how to save more money.
Lots of gluten-free products. I find these to be terribly expensive. They're like $6 or $7. I have to use a double coupon to try to get the pricing down, and I try to not make a lot of meals with those, simply because they're kind of like a specialty thing for the month. Like 1 meal might come from that. A month is not something we use on a continual basis. I find corn tortillas to be much more affordable, and I can coupon those a lot better.
Okay, now I have to wonder on the corn tortillas. That is a lot of corn tortillas. I mean, you've got 80, 160, let's see, what's 8 times 3? 240 corn tortillas on top of tortilla chips, on top of 20 or 30 packs of tostadas. That is a lot. So I hope that's not a week. I hope that's maybe like a month. I don't know. Do they last that long? A month? We go through tortillas a lot in our area also, but that seems like an awful lot of tortillas.
We use gluten-free pastas. I try to find the best price around for those. And we obviously are very big fans of Mexican and Italian foods. And so I have a lot of things to make that. Here is my sauces and other shelf. I try to get, again, those when they're on loss leader or when I get them free with my points. This is the pasta that we have found that we can use for those glycemic issues. And so what we're doing is we're using this and combining it with this. So we have 1 pot of 1 pasta going, and then 1 pot of the expensive Bonza pasta going.
So I love how she's not wasting the pasta that she's already bought, and she's figuring out a way to use it up so that she's not just throwing it away. A lot of people would just throw it away when they discover that they can't eat it. So I'm really glad that she's finding a way to use it and not just let it go to waste
when we make a meal, and that seems to be working right now to use up the other items. In the future, we'll just use the Bonza. It is more expensive, but when I make a sauce, for example, spaghetti sauce, I will throw in a lot of our garden produce into it to try to stretch it out and not use so much of the pasta, but then have more of the sauce. And again, some more rice noodles that need to go bye-bye, and the higher glycemic foods.
All right, guys, please go check out our Dining on a Dime cookbooks, volume 1 and volume 2. But this is the one that Annie really needs. It's our gluten-free, dairy-free edition. If you are like her, I have tested all of these recipes now. They are not diabetic and they do have eggs, but you can make substitutions super easy. This is our gluten-free, dairy-free edition. It's this book in the gluten-free, dairy-free edition. And then this is volume 1 and volume 2. Totally separate books with separate recipes that you can use together as an encyclopedia or use them apart. Either way, but they are recipes that you can make at home with the ingredients you already have and get in and out of the kitchen quick and easy. The link is in the description below.
I buy from Vitacost, the gluten-free products, cereals like oatmeals, steel-cut oats, cornbreads, when they are on sale. My rule of thumb is if I can't get a sale, a coupon, and my Rakuten points, it's kind of like a triple thing for me. When I can get all 3 of those lined up, then I will buy.
Okay, so that's a good idea. But as you're going to see later in the video, you guys watch for this because this is very important and it's a huge mistake that a lot of people make when buying groceries. So I'm going to point this out in just a minute, but remember this when we come back to it.
And then I stock up when that happens. I know how you feel about pie fillings. We rarely make pies. Those are for birthdays coming up. We have just ask what people want for their birthdays. And then when I can get them on sale, I got those Lucky Leaf from Albertsons when they were on sale and I used my points.
Actually, I have no problem with pie fillings. Really, they can actually be cheaper than buying all the fruits and making your from scratch pies. As a matter of fact, my grandmother, who is known for her apple pies, would buy her apple. It wasn't apple pie filling. It was the, what is it called? The sliced. It was just the apples. It was called, let me see if I can look it up here. It wasn't the pie filling. It was just, do they not make it anymore? Oh my, okay, I'm not seeing it on here, but it was just the sliced apples in the can. Musselman's or something like that is what Grandma used to use. And so that is the filling that Grandma used, and it was actually cheaper than doing your own pie filling.
I buy nuts when they're on sale, case lot when I can, and so everything gets bought on case lot, canned meat.
Okay, I'm going to be explaining case lot here in just a minute. Actually, our case lot is happening right now in my town today. As a matter of fact, I tried to hit to the store before the show and I didn't have time to do it. So I just barely missed it, but I'm going to go later in the week and get our case lots.
Behind my broom. I haven't been in here for a few weeks. Oils and things to take care of that. And so that is the pantry.
Okay, so I think your pantry is great. I think that you're actually very organized. I know it feels unorganized to you. You've had a major surgery. You're not filling in the groove, and I totally get it. But really, your pantry is looking really good to me. Now, when we get past your freezer and fridge, I've got something to say because I did notice something really big in this audit.
This is my son's pop collection. He pays for it himself. And so I've just kind of given this a pass because this is just something that he likes. He says it makes him feel better. He does suffer with fibromyalgia and some other issues. And so we just look for the best price that we can find for it, and he reimburses for that.
Okay, so I have no problem with that. Actually, my kids do the same thing. If they wanted extra sodas or whatever, I don't buy their extra sodas. Now, as for the fibromyalgia, yes, there is something in the soda. I don't know if it's the higher sodium content. I don't know if it's the sodium bicarbonate. I don't know if it is the, what's the other thing? The carbonation from those things. I don't know what it is, but yes, he is not crazy in thinking that he feels better when he drinks those things because there's some sort of chemical reaction that is happening that helps fibromyalgia feel better, which is what I have. Now, a cheaper alternative for him might be a glass of water with just some baking soda. I usually do like a half a cup of water with a half a teaspoon of baking soda. And so that would be a super cheap option. He can also try a regular Alka-Seltzer. I just get the off-brand at the grocery store or Walmart. And that is another option for him to feel better with that. Okay, now on to her refrigerator and freezer.
Okay, I am really scared to look in this fridge and freezer. I have not been in here for over a month because of my surgery. So we are going to see what lost leader buying has done. I know that we bought and stocked up on butters, cheese. We get our specialty sour cream when it's on sale. And I noticed in one of your other videos about whipping margarine up instead of this, so I'm going to give that a try. For those that can have dairy, we have the dairy. This is how it was organized. And it doesn't look as bad as what I thought it might look like, but it's in there. Obviously, the artificial cheeses are, for me, I find them pricey. I don't like them unless in our area that cheap price is about $3.99. Hot dogs are only when they're on sale. Eggs, same. And we got some sausages. Sometimes we'll use the sausages to stretch the eggs out along with some hash browns. Pop is leaving our world. It's one, it's expensive, and two, it's causing some health issues.
All right, guys, type 1, if you are cutting down on sodas and pops, whatever you call it in your area, or type 2, if you just have never had any at all. We have been noticing a trend in, we have been noticing a big trend. As a matter of fact, in an upcoming video, I sat and figured, and a third of the ladies' income, a third, is just spent on sodas. It was $90 and $35 of it was spent on sodas. And so, guys, I'm curious, are you guys cutting back, or do you just have none at all? Oh, it looks like everybody's just cutting back. Interesting. So people are still drinking soda. Wow. All right, let's go see.
I have no clue what's down there, and that's one of my problems. I'm very, very avoidant. I don't know if it's, I don't like to touch the raw meat or what it is, but for me, sometimes just digging through the fridge, more often than not, I'll just ask somebody to go, hey, go get something, and I'll make a meal out of it. But something is down there, and I will probably be asking for that for dinner tonight. I don't really have a meal plan. We normally buy what's on sale, and then we just try to create a meal. I'll try to find a recipe out of one of my books. Love your book, and I will do that.
So I think that's great, guys. Type 1 if you meal plan and then buy food, or type 2 if you buy food and then meal plan. I do not meal plan. I put my pantry and my refrigerator and freezer first. I just keep it filled with foods that are on sale, so that basically most people just make the same meals over and over again. So I just keep my pantry and my fridge filled with foods that are on sale. And then I only eat food that's on sale. Now, I'm not going to say only, but probably 80 to 90% of my food, I don't know the exact number, but somewhere around there, is just purchased on sale. I don't go and just decide to eat something today. I only get what's on sale, and then I figure out what I'm going to eat on a daily basis.
And so our fridge here is mostly just dairy, fresh meats. I do have some carrots, it looks like, down there in bulk. And that's that. Now we're going to get really scary. Okay, blue tape. Explanation on the blue tape. Sometimes this freezer door wants to open on itself, so sometimes we have to tape it, and that just kind of gives a little security.
Okay, now I don't know if you guys know this, but I put a picture in here so you can see. Did you know you can adjust your refrigerator and your freezer so that they lean backwards? There's little feet on the front of your refrigerator and most freezers, and all you do is twist that with a screwdriver and twist it up or down, whichever direction you need to go. And if you lean your refrigerator or freezer backwards, so it's leaning back, so take a level and put it on the top of your refrigerator or freezer, and you want it going back towards the wall, then most of the time, not all the time, your fridge or freezer doors will go with gravity and close instead of going the other direction and open them. So that's a little tip. Now, my freezers don't have the little adjustable thing on the bottom. So all I did was had Mike push back on the freezer on the top and I put shims underneath until our freezer was tipped back so that our door will have a tendency to close instead of stay open then. So that's a little tip for that. All right.
I've got some frozen meats in here. Admittedly, this is my bad area. I have no clue what I have. And I think if I were to change anything about myself, it would be like writing down what I have the day that I go to the store and having that on some sort of spreadsheet or something so I can look at it and maybe meal plan just a little bit better. Frozen cheeses, cooked frozen meats. These were really a good deal. So again, everything's bought on sale. And I do coupon through the apps at our local stores on Wednesdays when the new things come on sale. And we will tape this back up. It looks like some of these have fallen off, but we will work with it. Fish freezer too. Okay, this is why I am avoidant. This is a disaster for me. Just looking at it, it's just a mumbo jumbo. I have no clue what's in here. And I don't know when things are expiring because of this, and it's kind of messy. And this is out in the garage, kind of grosses me out. I think I have a little sensory issues with that, but I just think I need a better organizational plan. I think I'm getting good prices on the foods, but I have no clue what I have, and I think that that can be really costly in the long run. That's something I really want to change about myself, and hopefully you can help me with some ideas of how to, you know, it's hard. You go to the store, I do have fibromyalgia, I get tired. You go to the store, it just feels like when you're done, everything just kind of gets thrown in the freezer. You don't keep track of what you have. I'm wondering if I could use my receipts as a way to let myself know what I have. I'm wondering also about maybe on the outside of the freezer, putting a clipboard, and, you know, maybe mounting something where we have a clipboard, a pan or something that helps us know what we have, but that's what's in the freezer.
Okay, guys, type 1 if your freezer looks like this, and type 2, nope, I am totally organized. Let me tell you, I think the majority of people from what I'm noticing are number ones, because I'm finding that the freezer organization is a big problem. So type 1 if your freezer looks like this, or type 2 if you are organized. All right, I would not use your receipts. I would not use a list on the outside. Here's how I would organize your freezer if I came to your house and helped you. First of all, you just had major surgery. Give yourself a little grace and don't stress out about it, okay? First of all. But here's what I would do. I would pick one freezer, probably the little one, so you can see progress going quicker. And I would start every day cooking 1 or 2 things out of that freezer every day until you get it emptied, okay? Then get that freezer defrosted and all cleaned out. Then when you go to buy new food, designate those 2 shelves in that freezer specifically for an item. So let's say the top one is fruits. The bottom one is vegetables. That is all you put on the top one is fruits. That is all you put on the bottom one is vegetables. Okay. Now, I think, I'm not positive, and I didn't ask, and I think she's on here. Mike showed me a comment, and you can confirm this or not, but I think Annie lives in St. George, Utah. So I think that she's Latter-day Saints. So in their religion, it is built in that you stockpile a lot. And so I think it's great that you have this much stockpile. I think it's wonderful. And I think this is a great, trait, tradition, whatever you want to call it, to be able to do this so that when you have problems like back surgery, you have this stockpile of food and you're not having to worry about food. But you have so much that it's just gotten out of control. So what I would do, yes, she is on here. Okay, Annie, go in capitals so we can see your comments. If you have comments that you want to clarify something or something like that, and we'll try and grab those. I would clear out the little freezer first and get everything in there eaten. You can move some to the big freezer if you need to, but get that cleared up and cleaned out. Then designate one of those shelves. Then in the big freezer, you're going to do the same thing. Each shelf is going to have a designation. So in the door, I would put my butters and my shredded cheeses and possibly some of my vegetables if you want. I would put one shelf, frozen vegetables, another shelf, frozen fruits, and then 2 or 3 shelves, I would put my meats, but I would separate them. Beef on one shelf, pork on another shelf, chicken on another shelf. And if you want to put only your fruits and vegetables in the other freezer and have that big freezer just be your meat freezer, then I would go through and put, after the little freezer is cleaned out, put all of your fruits and vegetables from the big freezer into the little freezer to help you start getting organized and getting it sorted. Don't keep lists, never work. They never work. I have not seen one person where having a list of everything that's in their fridge or freezer, they're able to do it. I mean, maybe if somebody has OCD or something, possibly, but I've never seen it work for anybody's. But what does work is when you have a specific shelf designated for those particular items. Then you can just look at a glance. Oh, my beef shelf is full. If you eat a majority of beef, then one shelf could be all roasts and another shelf could be all ground beef and then chicken and then pork. Or if you eat mostly chicken, one shelf could be chicken breasts and one shelf could be chicken parts like drumsticks and quarters and thighs with bones in them. That way you're looking at a glance and things are not expiring. And when those shelves are full, you don't buy any more. No more. Okay. That way you can keep track of it. And if a shelf gets empty, then you can eat the other meats until something else goes on sale. So that is how I would organize it to keep it simpler so that you're not getting it out of control. Yeah. And Annie says, oh, she likes that idea. It's so simple to have designated shelves, no more guess buying. Exactly. You can just look at the shelf and say, my shelf is filled with boneless, skinless chicken breasts. I'm not buying it this week, even though it's on sale. My pork shelf is totally full. I'm not getting any more pork. I know it's 99 cents a pound, but I'm not doing it. So that's how I would organize it. And I would start with your little freezer first, get that all cleared out, move all your fruits and vegetables to the little freezer on their designated shelves, and that'll start clearing out the big freezer. But start using some of that and don't buy any more. All right, guys, our planners are in stock right now. Our Get It Together undated planners, 400 pages, guys. Right, whoops, can you see? Right here. 400 pages, 365 days. They are undated, so you don't lose any dates at all. We have on our sales page a video showing how to use our planner, and you can get it together. Okay, let's get to the next section here.
Okay, this is where I put like fresh, you can eat for breakfast produce. We did get this at the chef's store, this bag of onions. It was a fabulous deal. We're going to chop half of it and probably use the rest of it. We use a lot of onions. We really encourage fresh fruit. It's lower glycemic, does better for those that are struggling. It's a good sweet treat. And so we're getting used to fruits. Try to eat those up. Occasionally I will get like a big bag like this, and there'll be one that's rotted. One of the things I have a real struggle with is going and taking that back and getting a refund. I am horrible with that. It just feels
okay. So I totally get it, but let me tell you, I think it's great that you and your husband are finally standing up. Actually, I cut it off before you finished explaining, but yes, if I get a bag that has rotted fruit in it, I don't make a special trip. Okay. But if I'm headed that direction within a day or two, I will go back and take it back to the store and ask for my money back.
Feels like, okay, I'm home. It's here. Who cares? I'll just throw it in the trash. And I really need to maybe be okay with going back the next time and saying, look, this is how the quality was, and getting my money back so I can buy food that's actually usable. Wasting food just really makes me feel bad, and I just feel like that's putting a dent in our monthly budget. I would guess we waste probably $20 of food a month, and I've been kind of keeping track, and it makes me sick to know that.
Okay, I will tell you, $20. I mean, you might as well just take and flush it down the toilet. I get it, but you're feeding 5 adults, 4 guys. I think you said. I think you have three late teen boys. That's $20 a month. Really is not that big of a deal. So give yourself some grace on that. No, we don't want to waste food at all, but really, that's not near as bad as what most people do. All right, guys, please type in how many dollars do you think, oops, that's supposed to be think, not thin, you waste in food a month. I'm curious to see how much money you guys waste in just throwing food away. I don't know how much money, I would say we probably throw away maybe $10, 10 or 15, maybe 15. I don't even know if we throw away that much. We really don't throw away a lot of food that just goes bad. I would say maybe five or so dollars probably a month. We really don't throw away that much. We've got $10, $15, $10, $30. Sue says $50. Whoa.
Mike looks for the expiring stuff and eats it.
Yeah. I have to say that I'm really glad that Mike looks for the expiring food and he eats it. So thank you, my human garbage disposal. All right.
Okay, so this is our freezer, and instead of buying bottled waters, which we did for a long time, we live in the desert. Our water's not real great. We got a water filter that came with our house. We just never used it. We're using it now, and we bought some water bottles on sale that everybody fills up every night. They can go in the dishwasher, and that really helps. We're replacing pop with the cranberry juice that is low sugar. We have one of my expensive items is right there, which is the specialty Sun Butter, which is replacing peanut butter for the one that has the nut allergy. These are my really ugly but cheap leftovers. We are a leftover family, and I'm really fortunate that my family will eat leftovers. We'll cook up eggs if they're starting to get to the point we need to cook them up. We'll cook them up scrambled, hard boiled, fried, whatever. I'm getting frustrated with my avocados. They're going bad too quick, so I am buying a little bit more of the frozen, because we do love our Mexican food and we do love to have a little bit of avocado on it. Again, more and more and more leftovers. So as long as there's leftovers, lunch is always what is in the fridge until those are gone. And dinner, we do something nicer. And then down below are fresh items. We buy whatever is on sale for the week, and we will add in a few things. Like I had to go get some green onions for one of our meals, and it was just a just a quick shop trip. We have a store that's maybe a half a mile away, and just to make a meal happen. So I need to get better organized. The night before would probably be the best thing. I don't think it's a bad idea just to grab what's in your freezer and try to make something out of it, but I need to do it like sooner so that I'm not making these quick trips. So maybe even sooner than that, maybe like a week sooner.
Okay, so I think it's great that they use leftovers. This is something that I didn't even realize people did, that they don't eat their leftovers. So I think it's great that you eat your leftovers. I'm very fortunate that Mike and I both eat leftovers. And frankly, if we just get too many, I don't cook dinner, and we just end up eating leftovers for dinner, having a leftover night. So I think that's great
and
that they're willing to do that.
Doors of shame. They just are full of stuff. Some stuff is being phased out, and some stuff is what we use all the time. Pop, again, is going out of our diet, as well as a lot of the sugar products. It's not working. It's easier for us to eat fruit and some other items, or those high protein flours. And then my freezer, I think we already attended to this, but again, this is my freezer on the inside just in case. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention, these not discernibles, that's the zest off of lemons. We do keep that. We do keep our broths from our chicken or any of our meats. We will keep the broth. We'll skim the fat and keep the broth so that we can make soups. Okay.
Okay, now, Annie, you are on here. Tara has a word for you. Okay. You just had major back surgery. Stop buying food. Stop. This is exactly why you have your stockpile, for exactly this reason. You have at least probably 9 months to a year's worth of food at least that you guys can eat. You have to stop buying food. Give yourself a break for a couple of months. Use what you have, and then you can go back to buying around Christmas time. But your freezers are stuffed. Your pantry is stuffed. You are having back surgery and you're still going to buy food. Stop it. Just stop it. Now, you said your family is listening. You guys, don't let her go to the grocery store. I don't care how good of a deal it is. I don't care how good of a deal it is. Until several of those freezer shelves, and I would say until at least 4 freezer shelves are cleared out of the 2 freezers in the garage. Her family is cracking up. Too true. Very good. I'm glad you're listening. Until at least 4 of those freezer shelves are cleared. You have 3 completely stuffed freezers, the equivalent of 2 big stand-up freezers completely stuffed. 4 of the equivalent of 4 freezer shelves needs to be emptied out before you buy anything else. You just had surgery. Stop it. I am dead serious. This is exactly what we have a stockpile for. This is the emergency. You're not understanding that this is the emergency that you're stockpiling for. This is it. Now, later in the video, she's going to say how she does the coupons and then her husband runs into the store. No, hubby, don't do it. This is where you're going to have to say no and tell her we are not shopping this week. You can easily not go to the grocery store for 2 months at least. With all of those frozen fruits and vegetables, you don't even need to be buying fresh fruits and vegetables. You don't even need to be buying fruits and vegetables. I'll let you buy a few cuties or bananas or apples possibly, but really you have so much, you don't even need to buy fresh fruits or vegetables, okay? So we're going to go through some of your receipts here because when I saw this, I was like, girl, you just had back surgery. Stop buying food. And then I got to the receipts and I was like, oh my goodness. So you must be some sort of Wonder Woman being in back pain like that and going shopping. So I give you kudos for that. But seriously, you have to stop. Yeah, she said, we have 5 of us, 4 big men in the mix. Yeah. And those men, they can help you at least not go to the grocery store at all. Guys, it sounds like maybe she can't drive. So if she can't drive, you don't be driving her to the store. Okay? This is a Tara moment. This is like, get it together, Annie. Okay, let's go and look at her receipts here. Annie says, not an addiction, just on autopilot the first few past months. I totally get it. I totally get it. And here's the thing. When you are ultra focused on always making sure you get the best price, it is super hard to get out of that mode. But you have to tell yourself, this is the time that I'm stocking up for. This is why I have done this all the time. You need to stop buying groceries. I don't remember. Let me go back and look, and I forgot to check real quick. I think, how much did you say you're spending? You were the one who didn't even know how much you're spending on groceries a month. Oh, okay. Here's Mike's expression. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay. I guarantee you are probably spending at least, even with your frugal ways, as packed as that stuff is and the way you're going to the grocery store, I bet you are spending $600 to $700 at least a month. If you don't go to the grocery store for 2 months, you will save $1,000 minimum. If you don't go for 3 months, you will save $1,500. So, and he says, I'm granting myself grace. The emergency has arrived. Yes, it has, my friend. Yes, it has. Now, I totally get the autopilot thing. So I'm yelling at you, but I'm not yelling at you because I totally get it. It is hard to get out of that mode. But that is where you have to say, nope, this is the emergency. Okay. All right.
A recent trip to Smith's. I will probably film us going grocery shopping this week. I do try on Wednesdays. That's the day that we roll over into the new sale ad. I will go through and take probably about 20-30 minutes and go through each store's app. We do tend to shop about 5 stores, and we just kind of make a big circle when we do this, and we just hurry and run. We put a cooler in our vehicle, and we get everything we try to get everything that's a loss leader. I do check prices between the stores as I'm doing those coupons and looking at their weekly ad, and then I make a list and try to get things. I do have a personal care product in there. I had some makeup, which I am super excited to start feeling a little better and putting makeup on again and stuff since I had the surgery. But we got some good prices on some guacamole. Like I said, I love avocados, and I'm struggling with how poor they are. So we are maybe looking more at freezing like the Holy Guacamole or the name brand guacamole. Those were clearance ones that were $1.89. I used on the coupon, I did put in a one for fuel points, where it's 4 times fuel point day. And so I did that. And then down at the bottom, there's a lot of sausage rolls. I do that a lot of times instead of hamburger. We could close up and then freeze them. Here's another Smith's coupon, or sorry, receipt. This is where we go shopping sometimes. It's a Kroger
Okay, $1.99 is really good for butter, so I'm impressed with that.
store. And my job right now is just to do the couponing and making the list, and my husband's doing the shopping in store. I tell him always to look for some of those clearance stickers if he sees them. Certain items like pop and things like that. We have 3 college-age kids that are dealing with some health issues, but they are working from home and doing school, and they reimburse for those items. So we are not paying for those items. Those are things that they're taking care of because they're special to them. Okay, Lynn's that's a local market close to us, and they had their case lot. I do not just blindly buy case lot. I like to look at the prices of each individual item to make sure that it isn't found better at other places. I did find a couple of things that were better priced at Walmart, so I passed on those items.
Good job.
We do like unsweetened applesauce. That's a good treat for us. We do like beans. Again, like I said, we like Mexican food a lot. And so that was case lot, something that goes on twice a year. And that's when I tend to stock up on those canned items. In between, I tend to go to Walmart or whenever there's a sale somewhere else and stock up in between. Okay.
Good job. Okay, so let's talk about the case lot sale, because a lot of people don't know what case lot is. I didn't know what case lots were until my friend Kimmy from She's in Her Apron was talking about. I'm like, what is a case lot sale? When we lived in Colorado, until I moved even further west. I don't know, is moving north further west? I don't know. But we never had case lot sales when I lived in Texas or Colorado or Kansas. It's only a thing that I've seen in in Wyoming. And I guess they're in Utah and Idaho a little bit also, maybe Oregon. But here's what a case lot sale is. And ours is happening this week. So when you buy an entire case, then the food is a lot less. So like it's 60 cents for green beans for a case lot sale. But at Walmart right now, they're 64 cents. Let me hold on just a second. Let's share the screen, share screen. Hold on. So even though there's 64 cents, look at this. There's 64 cents at Walmart on a regular basis. So I would not go and buy the case lot sale for this particular item because it's just that's the normal price at Walmart. But now look at some of these prices. Okay, green chilies, that's a pretty good deal. But look at these pinto beans here. Okay, I can't remember if I put it here or a little bit later, but $18.99 for 20 pounds of pinto beans. $22.99 for 20 pounds of pinto beans. But if you go and look, Walmart is actually cheaper. It is, I think it was $14. Yeah, $15 for 20 pounds at Walmart. So it's actually a better deal at Walmart. And so you have to be really careful. Now, they can have sometimes a good deal. Like last year, this orange juice was two for $1. I mean, it was two for $2. So they were $1 each. And so that was a good deal. But like these vegetables, they're $1.18 at Walmart, but they're $1.25 on the case lot sale. This is where knowing your prices is imperative. And we have our price book. Oops, I took it in. We have our price book in our store. We had a lot of people ask, so we are working on getting a digital version. We're going to be picking them up, a printed version. We're going to be picking those up the second week of October. So we're going to have the printed version of our price book coming in just about 2-3 weeks. So this is where it's imperative to know what your prices are. Now, let's look some more at her receipts here.
It is one of the more expensive stores in our area. However, with the apps, I buy the lost leaders and I load all the coupons on the items that we use, and then they give points back that you can use on certain things. So some things are free. This is normally where I will get my son's seltzer waters that he likes, or sparkling waters, whatever they call them. I don't drink them. They don't taste good to me, but he says that they really do make him feel better, and he is struggling with a lot of health issues, and so that's something that he likes. He pays for it. We just try to find the best prices for him when we're out and about. I found a really good price on that virgin olive oil, which I love, and it ended up being $10.99, so I was really grateful, and it was a very large container of the olive oil. I actually went back and got more as my surgeon's allowing me to do a little bit more walking. I'm able to do some of the smaller stores, and so that's kind of fun when I can go back in. Sometimes I am popping back in just for the sake of getting a good little walk-in that I can have right now. I do want to talk about something on this receipt. So the pork chops that are right, I guess about there, the pork chops were actually, we have learned to get rain checks. My husband and I are really shy people, and so we're getting more assertive and asking for rain checks and going back and getting the items that were not available when there is a loss leader, and talking to the store managers and starting to do this. And we're finding that people are being very kind to find us the deals, or going in the back room and finding things that maybe are not on the shelves. And so that is one thing, is to learn to kind of break out of your comfort zone just a little bit and ask what there is. And so you will see that we do a lot of couponing. I do a lot of the online couponing. In fact, sometimes I'm sitting out in the vehicle and I am clipping coupons as my husband is running through the store. I'm hoping it will be me soon that will be doing that, at least us together. And so I was really proud of myself. 46% savings, and that was like, this might be the receipt of fame for me, but that was a recent trip that we took, and I was really grateful because we got some. Admittedly, with the protein issues, I just wanted to talk about it a bit while we're looking at this. I know we're looking at some meat prices probably that are not, we try to, for our area, try to find the best price. We can't eat eggs, milk, nuts, and shellfish. It really has hampered our ability to be. I remember when we were able to eat those items, and I could keep our groceries pretty much under 500 easily for 6 people, and I'm really struggling a little bit more. The good part is that my family, when I do make something, I try to make something that will make at least 2 or 3 meals and stretch it out to try to get those costs down a little bit, and they are awesome. This is an area. Okay, if you could give me one idea. We love hummus. And I would love
more ideas on like a bean dip.
Okay, I about flipped out when I saw she paid $5 for hummus. I hope that's for 2 of them. It says quantity 2, so I hope that's for 2 of them and not each. But wait till you guys see my hummus and bean dip breakdown. You guys are going to be floored when you see it. Now, let me address the protein real quick. She asked on how to save on the protein. So what I would do is the things that you're limited, the nuts and the fish and all those kinds of things, that is not a big deal. Do not buy any protein. I do not buy any protein, I should say. Well, okay, I do, but on a normal basis when the doctor doesn't have me on a really restricted diet, which I know you're on also, but for normal times, I only buy meat when it's $3 or less a pound. For the majority of it, I'll pay $3.50 a pound for roasts. I pay $2 or less a pound for boneless, skinless chicken breasts. I pay 75 cents a pound for bone-in chicken, thighs, drumsticks, leg quarters. I spend $1.47 or less on pork, all pork. And so then I'm only buying the meat that's on sale. And so that way I'm always getting the lowest price. So I really wouldn't worry about it too much. I think you're doing fine. I would just make sure that you're always getting the best price for your meats.
Or something that would be kind of equivalent to that. That would be really, really awesome for our family. I mean, as you can see, that is really expensive.
About the hummus.
Totally owning that. And I am really wishing for some ideas of like, I buy bulk black beans and pinto beans, bean dips, something that my kids can eat with their corn chips that tastes good, maybe would be a replacement for hummus. I have no ideas. That we love the hummus, and I don't know that it's actually hummus that we love as much as bean dip for our chips. It's like a snack thing. Everybody in the family loves it. And so when K-Slot was available for us 2 weeks ago, we got a bag of black beans because I like black bean dip and some pinto beans. They were very cheap.
Okay, I would be curious to know, Annie, how much you paid for those black beans.
And I know that they're going to go a long way. And so what I did is, I'm gonna just kind of sneak, I bought about 10 of these little freezer things, and they can go in the freezer or fridge. And they're just exactly the size as our hummus containers. And I'm thinking that we can really somehow find a very simple a bean dip recipe, and then we can maybe let each individual like spice it up to their heart's content, especially with some of the spices that are coming from like Dollar Tree or on clearance from Walmart. And we can put them in here. Total for the bulk beans on K-Slot and for the containers, it was about $45. And when hummus in our area on sale is $3.99, I have found it as low as $2.99, but that is like marked down as a we need to get rid of it thing.
Okay, so that would be about 30 cents a serving. A serving is only 2 tablespoons though. Only 2 tablespoons. So I would say about that much would be 2 tablespoons. If it's like this thick and about this wide. How many people actually just eat that much dip? So I have a feeling they're eating way more than that. But wait until you guys see the savings on this. It's going to be crazy.
This is going to pay for itself really quickly.
It is. All right. So look at this, guys. For her $45 investment, it will make 240 cups of beans, of bean dip, I should have put on there, which equals $960 worth of bean dip for that $45 investment. That is 2,000% more. 2,000% more that she is paying to have her bean dip already made versus making it herself. 2,000%. That is a huge markup. Absolutely huge markup. Yeah, and she said her husband says that his servings are way more than that. I guarantee you, you are probably eating $2. I don't know how much you eat out of one of those little containers, but I'm sure it's at least half. So $2 to $2.50 for each serving is crazy high. But watch how I make, let's see if that was up next here. Oh, okay. No, let me talk about this. So I don't know if you saw, but on our ad, it was $18 or $19 for 20 pounds of beans. But at Walmart, it's 15 pounds of beans for the regular price. So even though they're having a case lot sale, that doesn't mean that it's necessarily a better deal. So that's 2 cents per serving. And you can, oh yeah, $19 right here is our case lot sale this week. It just started yesterday. That's how much it is for the pinto beans, $23 for the black beans. And then you get 259 servings for a quarter of a cup though. So here's the thing, the servings are different from the bean dip versus the beans. So it's 5 cents for a 1 cup serving of making homemade beans. Well, slightly more than that, but you can make them a whole lot cheaper. I'm going to show you right now how to do that. All right, guys, hummus, Dining on a Dime Cookbook, Volume 2, 25% off right now in the description below. Page 189. This is one of over 800 recipes and tips. It's homemade hummus. Okay, now I make mine a little bit different. What I do is I save the juice. Wow, there's a lot of juice in there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Oh my. Put in the chickpeas. Then I add my lemon packets. These are in the description below. I love these. Then my garlic powder. Mike likes extra garlic. Now you can use regular garlic cloves. I don't have any. Or you could use roasted garlic. Seasoned salt. I add my cumin. And then a little bit of the juice and put it all together. Now you can put tahini, I don't know how you say that, but I don't like the taste of it, so I leave it out. By the way, guys, I love this immersion blender. It is in the description below. Okay, now we want it pretty smooth and creamy, so we're going to add a little bit more. Okay, then if you want, I forgot, you can add a little bit of olive oil. I bet bacon grease would be really good in here too. Let's taste and see what it tastes like. That's good. It needs more salt. You need more salt, people. Okay, for all those people that are going to freak out because I used a spoon for us to eat out of.
Ooh.
Pretty tasty, huh?
Yum. Better not keep that around. I might eat too much of it.
You might eat too much of it. Now, you can make this with anything you want. You can do taco seasoning. You can do red peppers, roasted red peppers. You can sprinkle paprika on top. But this is the basic recipe, and then you can just add to it as you want. But you can freeze this in little containers, just like the other bean dips, and have it on hand to just pull out of the freezer when you need a little dish of hummus. Okay, I'm gonna show you how to make homemade bean dip. It is super easy. So I'm gonna show you 2 ways. I'm gonna show you black beans with dried, you can use any beans. Rinse beans. Oh, this is not a good colander. Oh dear. Well, the holes are too big. Okay. So, okay. So you want to rinse your beans, just like so. Some people find rocks in these. I have never found a rock, but sometimes they do. I'm going to put 8 cups of water in my Instant Pot. Then I have my beans right here. Pour them in. A little piece of onion here. That's all I have. A few peppers from the garden. There. There. A shriveled pepper. And then I'm going to add my salt. Now, I'm going to turn on my Instant Pot for 40 minutes and let this cook. Here's a little tip real quick. Always put a towel over your Instant Pot when you release the steam so you don't burn yourself and you don't get bean spit all over your cabinets. Drives me. That's the one thing I really super hate about the Instant Pot is all the bean spit and everything. Are straight out of the Instant Pot. I'm gonna see if they are not crunchy. Not crunchy. Okay, Dying on a Dime Cookbook, Volume 1, 25% off in the description below. Over 1,200 recipes and tips in this volume, guys. But if you want to cook dry beans on the stovetop, here's how you do them. If you want a refried bean recipe, here it is, page 175. Now, I'm making basically a refried bean recipe with the black beans. I just use black beans instead, but this is basically the same recipe. The recipe is in the description below for the refried beans, okay? Now, I like bacon grease for my oil. Now, this is a big batch. Okay.
Because bean dip and refried beans are the same thing.
Yeah, well, that's what bean dip is refried beans, vice versa. Okay, and instead of putting in taco seasoning, I don't waste money on those little packets, guys. Those are ridiculously expensive. I just make my own taco seasoning. And usually I have it made up in pre-made already, but I ran out, so I need to make some more. Okay, and then if you want a little spice, oops, forgot the garlic, so I put onion, garlic, chili powder, cumin, oregano. Mike really likes garlic. It's probably not enough. Now, you could put, if you want some spice, you could use this jalapeno Tabasco, which is really good, or you could use dry jalapenos. I dry these from my garden. And then salt. This is seasoned salt, so I'm going to have extra garlic and onion, but that's okay. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to leave our peppers and onions, and we're just going to grind it all together. I did not drain this. Do you want it chunky or smooth, my dear?
I think chunky. Thank you.
Okay, if you want it smoother, just keep on blending. And we'll do a taste test here. More salt. Okay, now this would be a quadruple batch, I think, over the recipe in the book. So I'm gonna add a whole lot more.
How much more do I keep going, dear?
This is a massive amount. We're gonna have to freeze this.
Yes, we are. But that's what we're talking about in the video today.
We're gonna freeze it in little baggies.
Tips. No, actually, we're gonna use containers this time. Okay, putting more in. Gotta find the garlic because there's just not enough garlic, I know.
The world needs more garlic, people.
Yep. That's what Mike says on a regular basis, huh?
Yep.
Okay, and I've got more oregano. Okay, and more garlic. Tell me when, dear.
It's probably good.
Okay.
Oh, that's a lot of garlic. Oh, that's a lot of beans too.
Okay, now, this is 6 cups of bean dip. So
Okay.
if you were to buy this in the store,
So let me just say real quick here. I totally, afterwards, both Mike and I were like, this is way more than 6 cups. I'm like, yeah, it sure seems like 6 cups. But I went and actually, I just went with online. They said it was 6 cups when you make it that way. And I was like, what? That just doesn't seem right. So I actually measured and it's 12 cups of bean dip when it's finished. So that's a huge difference.
it would be around $30 for this amount of bean dip. That cost me $1.25 probably to make. $1.50 maybe if you used a whole onion and had to buy pepper. I didn't have to buy the pepper, but about $1.50 worth for the same amount. That would be 30, probably could be $30 or $40 in the store. Yeah. But the world needs more salt. Okay, so now I just go by taste. And like I said, I'm quadrupling this recipe. So I'm just tasting it as I go along to see if I have enough. But now, as you know, I'm using fresh spoons to taste test because with this much bean dip, we'll probably have tacos and have somebody over. So I'm not going to spread my germs to visitors. Don't worry. I just spread my germs to Mike and I. Okay.
Smells good.
Oh man, your wife is a good cook. Okay, hold on. Okay, my taste tester extraordinaire. You're not going to the library after all this bean dip testing, are you?
Yeah. Tastes like a dip at a restaurant. It's really good.
Thank you.
Wow.
I'm telling you, our recipes are good, aren't they?
Yes.
Because we actually test them. Okay, so speaking of needing Beano before you eat this, I don't know if this works, but we'll see. They said put in some apple cider vinegar. I have tried putting in baking soda and it doesn't work, so we're gonna try this with apple cider vinegar and see how it goes.
You gotta affect the taste.
I don't know, we're gonna see. I guess I should have tested it in a small amount first, huh?
Let's say we don't want to dump 4 cups of. That's only 4 cups?
6.
6 cups. It looks like even more.
It was 12 cups.
Okay, now we'll test again.
Okay, now I will say I made this morning, and Mike and I, after we had it for lunch, both determined the apple cider vinegar did not stop the how do we, dear, okay, dear, how do we delicately put this?
It might have stopped that. It just didn't make it easier to digest.
So the
Getting
apple,
older, it's harder to digest it.
so the apple cider vinegar trick did not work. I don't know. I even took enzymes with mine, but anyway, just TMI, just so you know.
You can't taste anything? Okay, so now what I do is take these little containers and then for us, we will just put them in these and freeze them
and then just pull one out when we're ready to use them. So just get, like, she got 10 little containers. That's probably fine. Just depending on how many you want. Okay. And then just search up all the different recipes that you guys like adding. I mean, you could add more jalapenos, you can add more peppers, more onions. You can add pretty much anything you want to this dip. How do I conclude this?
Have a nice day.
That's all, folks.
Now
Now we're gonna have bean dip until we die.
Yeah, coming out our wazoo.
Okay, so that is how you make bean dip. I think we're going to be giving bean dip to all the neighbors because that's a lot of bean dip for us. I mean, we like bean dip, but my goodness, I don't know. We probably won't eat that much for a while. Maybe, well, one a week, and I ended up with 12 cups, so that's not too bad, actually. So, okay, now next we're going to look at the rest of her.
I really enjoy going to Dollar Tree and finding spices, pickles, their cleaners. I am loving those, and so that is something that we are starting to find some really good products that are replacing out other products that were very expensive for us. Okay, this is
So that's a really good tip right there. Dollar Tree, somebody, I think Lynn said, oh, but Tara, you put a lot of spices in there. Yes, but for 12 cups of bean dip, I did not put more than 50 cents worth of spices in there. So there's no way I used an entire bottle of spices. And I just on the garlic alone, I probably used a quarter of a bottle of garlic, and it's $1.25 at Dollar Tree. So I would say use 50 to 60 cents worth of spices. Well, when you compare that, I spent about $2.50 for that 12 cups probably. In the end, I realized I miscalculated slightly. But even at that, for the 12 cups that I made for $2.50, that would have been $60 at the store. That is still way worth it. And I did an entire 2 pounds of beans. You don't have to cook 2 pounds of beans at once. I just did it just to see what the entire 2 pounds would happen, making the whole thing. But it did make 12 cups of beans. So how long will it last in the fridge after being frozen? Oh my goodness, I would say probably at least 5 or 6 days, if not a week. And you could put things like Rotel tomatoes in there, or salsa, or green chilies, or anything like that also. Okay, now we get to the fun part.
It's going to probably be a very expensive receipt. I actually liked this store. I could see if you were really price booking this would be a very good store. We got a few items that we were able to get in bulk. The bulk quantity compared to like Walmart prices was really good. We do like green olives in our house. We do use a lot of white onion. We'll cut it up and freeze it and put it in with the vegetables in our freezer. And I know the big ticket item right there, cocoa. And it is one that has no dairy, no nothing in it. Last Christmas it was extremely hard. We through the winter we'll drink cocoa. It's something we really enjoy as a family. It's kind of a traditional thing, and that container that I have will last probably a good year. It's huge. So I think that was a good price. I'm not sure. You said that you had a recipe for that, but I need something that's dairy free, low glycemic, and this one seemed to hit the bill on that one.
Okay, so $20 for cocoa. Oh my goodness. Okay, I had a cow on this one. I'll tell you, I had a cow. Now, as I was researching this, I was like, how in the world is she getting that this is low glycemic? I get the no dairy thing and all that. But when I went to go look, the first ingredient was sugar. And I was like, how in the world is this low glycemic? I just could not figure this out. So I ended up emailing her, and she said, I didn't even look at the ingredients. Now, to her defense, she just had back surgery. So I don't expect everything to be perfect. But guys, when you have food issues, any new product you buy, pretty much all products you buy, because the companies change the product, you have to look and see what is in the ingredients. And in this cocoa, which is super, super expensive, I'm sure it tastes really good. And I wish we have quicker Amazon delivery here, because I would have bought some just to taste test between what I'm getting ready to make for her and theirs, just to see which one would be better.
Yeah, just a taste test.
Here's the thing. I have people all the time say this cocoa is just the best in the whole world. And I really wonder if it's actually the best. My cocoa was pretty darn tootin' good today. You got to admit.
Yep. It wasn't as darn tootin' good as the beans, though.
Aren't you funny? Okay. So here's how you... Okay, guys, give me a thumbs up if you like Mike's darn tootin'. Oh my goodness. All right, guys, if you are loving these videos, would you please subscribe, hit that thumbs up and the bell for us. Book dairy-free, gluten-free, dairy-free edition on page 33. Now we have hot cocoa that you make in the pan, which I'm going to make today, or hot cocoa mix, which you can also make. So this is probably the one you will want if you don't want to do it in the pan every single time. But I didn't have any coconut milk powder, so I'm going to show you how to make this one. Okay, I've got my pan. I have my baking cocoa. By the way, let me just say real quick, you can make the cocoa and the sugar mix without the coconut powder and use the carton coconut milk if you would prefer, like I'm using in the video here. So you don't have to buy the coconut powder. You can just mix the sugar and the cocoa together and just scoop that in with your coconut milk and make it in the microwave. That way is just fine. Cocoa, I have 4 cups of dairy-free milk. I'm using coconut milk. I think it tastes the best. And I'm gonna go ahead and scrape out my thing. Okay. Then I'm going to add a dash of salt and a half a cup of sugar. Now, you are not eating sugar because you have pre-diabetic issues, so you could use Splenda, any of the sugar alternatives, monk fruit, any of those. And then we're going to stir this until it gets warm. Now, see how the cocoa doesn't break up? You just need to whisk it quicker. So usually I use a whisk. I don't even mess with a spatula normally, but.
So you said 4 cups of milk, but you've only put 2 in there.
Oh. Thank you. See, everybody's got to have an editor. There you go. Well, just be really strong cocoa. Now, let me get this whisked, and then let's talk about the baking cocoa real quick. So, what you're paying for in all of these cocoa mixes is just having it pre-made. So, what you want is baking cocoa. So, you can see right here, there's no milk, nothing. It's just natural cocoa. This is the base for all cocoa mixes. There's no milk, there's no sugar, there's no nothing, no type of dairy at all. And so this is what you want. This is way cheaper than buying the pre-made cocoa mix. This is how you will know it's the right thing, because it only has 1 ingredient. It's just chopped up chocolate without any sugar or anything.
It's cocoa beans, right?
Yeah.
So it's a vegetable. So hot cocoa is a vegetable food?
Yes. Hot cocoa is a vegetable. You feel better now? eating it.
Sure.
Now, for those of you who aren't dairy-free, you can use this with regular milk just fine. It's in our Dining on a Dime, Volume 1. Okay, we're going to get festive. I know it's September, but hey, it's never too early. If anyone says it's too early for Christmas, you don't need that kind of negativity in your life. No, it is never too early for Christmas. Don't need that kind of negativity. Just make sure this salt needs just a little bit more. Oh my. Oh my. Okay, are we ready?
Yep.
There we go. Oh, that is so good. Okay, that is so good. Okay, just so you know, I'm not spoofing you. You gotta turn Santa the other way. There you go. Okay. Hey, Mr. Claus.
Santa, you know what I want for Christmas?
Me? Oh!
Oh, yum. It's really good.
And it delicious.
Mm-hmm.
It's delicious. Yeah.
Yum. I have to have more.
Okay, we're off to split the rest of the cocoa.
This is one of the best.
Okay, so that is how you make homemade cocoa. Now, it depends on the kind of cocoa you buy. I just get the cheapy one at Walmart. I know the different cocos have better taste or whatever. You can buy the more expensive ones, but we're frugal. The taste was really super rich. I mean, wouldn't you agree, dear? The taste was really rich.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it tasted like a Hershey's candy bar.
Yeah.
It
was
really did.
good.
Yeah. So, okay. So now she's got a few more tips that we're going to go check out here.
Cost-saving things that we have is our coolers. We used that small one on top. That was our son's cooler that he took to the university. Instead of buying an expensive milk card, we went ahead and sent that with a leftover that had been frozen. So it was already frozen. We had a little ice pack that we would just throw in there too, but just having the leftover frozen, that helped a lot too. We would send a piece of fruit. We might send a piece of cheese. It was just whatever. And people started to notice and enjoy the smells coming from his department. And then I was getting texts like, what recipe is that? And at first it was awkward for him because, you know, everybody else had a meal card, but for him, he found that it was, first off, more convenient because he was staying right where he needed to be. He didn't have to trek all over campus to get something to eat. And it was something that was free, and we didn't have to pay for that. That just saved some educational costs. And it was a way to use up our food. The bigger coolers, this is...
Okay, so let me just say something about that. This is going to be a little soapbox. When my niece went to college, she was, for those of you who don't know, she lived with us in her teen years. And then when she went to college, in Colorado, it was required the first year that you have to live on campus and buy a meal card. She got a free ride to college, which was great. She worked super hard, great deal. But let me tell you, as a parent, well, first of all, I don't pay for my kids' college. But if I was paying for my kids' college, I would be livid. This was 5 years ago that she went to college, I think.
Something like that.
5 years ago. And it was $300 just for the meal card. I would have been livid paying $300 a month for a meal card at college. I'm sorry. There is absolutely no way I would have done that. I would have, oh my goodness. They would have been hearing something from me. That is absolutely ridiculous. They had, I think we counted 10 different bars for them to go to. They had a Chinese bar. They had a barbecue bar. They had a burger bar. They had a taco bar. They had an Italian bar. They had a dessert bar. They had a soda bar. They had a breakfast bar. Literally anything you could think to eat, they had in this. It was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So I think this is great that instead of caving in to the pressure at college, that you guys took matters into your own hands and saved yourself a huge amount of money. There was, yeah, Annie says, I think those meal cards are an absolute scam. They are an absolute scam. As a matter of fact, college is an absolute scam now. You guys know my feelings on this, but college is 100% a scam now. It is. It's absolutely ridiculous that the prices that these things are now, and there's absolutely no reason for it. Okay. Back to my cooler so I get off my soapbox, or her cooler so I get off my soapbox.
Our mid-size cooler. We'll take something like that on a vacation. We don't go on a ton of vacations, but when we do, we always take our cooler with us. If we find a restaurant that can accommodate the food allergies, then we will tend to freeze off the leftovers in the hotel room. We'll just freeze them. And that makes it so that we can either eat them later on that vacation or take them home and continue to enjoy that vacation and the flavors of that vacation. I will also bring frozen dinners because my first day on a vacation, I might not know what restaurants are going to be accommodating. So another thing that we do.
So that's a really good idea. Guys, growing up, I'm not kidding, every 3 or so months, we would come back to Colorado from Kansas to visit my grandparents. And we never, ever, ever, when we were traveling, ever went to a restaurant. Mom and grandma always just brought hot dogs in a thermos with some boiling water, or we made sandwiches or whatever, but we never went to a restaurant. So I think that is excellent that you take it with you and you don't go to restaurants.
You'll see a lot of nuts, and we have dried berries. They can vary what kind. And we can make our own trail mix. One of the things that we have found is the trail mix is really expensive, and yet we can get nuts on clearance, and we can get the dried berries or raisins really cheap, or even some out of our garden we can do, but we can make our own trail mix and we can make it to suit. So that's one of the things that can make a big difference for us is to do that. And when I was thinking about our Ziploc baggies and snacks, I'm starting to wonder about using reusables for those Ziploc baggies, since we're using them for just something like trail mix that they could be washed out and used again. And that might save me a lot of money because I'm finding baggies to be really pricey right now.
Okay, so let me just say something first. I'm going to show you on the baggies, but make sure you do the numbers and the trail mix is actually cheaper, because a lot of times the trail mix to make your own is not cheaper. Now, I know you're an excellent shopper, so you probably get your nuts and stuff cheap enough, but just double check before making your own that it is cheaper. Now on to the baggies.
Let me show you here, baggies. Now, Mom just dehydrated green onions for me in this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna rinse it out. Just like that. And then I just turn it upside down and let it dry. Now, if it has breadcrumbs in it, I just shake out the breadcrumbs and just shove it back in my baggie drawer right here. Now, for trail mixes and stuff like that, use these fold top bags here. Let's see, can you see? Okay, see these fold top bags? This is what I use. These are less than a penny each. I don't know, it's like $1 for this or something. It's not very expensive. And so I just use these baggies, and even these, if there's just breads in it or cookies or whatever, I will reuse them, shake them out, and I just shove them back in here. And then the same with the sandwich size. This is the freezer size, this is the sandwich side. And then I just shove them back in there, and then they're ready to use again. The only thing I don't reuse is if I have raw meat or pretty much any meat, just because it's so greasy. So that's the only time I don't reuse them, is if it's got meat.
So this.
Okay, so let me just say real quick on this. Don't worry about the baggies. So the little fold top baggies, they're $0.015 each. The zip top baggies are 2 to 3 cents a piece. So while they are expensive if you use a lot of them, when you reuse them, you don't really have to spend a lot. I would not go and buy special reusable baggies. That is a huge waste of money. I would not do that. I would just get the disposable ones and just reuse the disposable ones. And I can use a disposable one 10, 20 times for perfectly fine. And so don't go out and spend, you know, $10, $20 on reusable bags. Just reuse the bags that you have. And that will save you a lot of money. Okay, next to her last tips here.
This is something that we've done since we were first married. Popcorn, we'll buy in bulk. We tend to refill old containers when we can get the large bags when it makes sense for the price. And we have air pops popcorn forever. And my husband absolutely loves his A&W. And so Friday nights are popcorn and some root beer. And it becomes almost like we're going to the movies, and it saves us so much money. And we'll just watch a movie as a family. We'll sit down, have our popcorn. Everybody can make it to suit. For those that want butter on it, they can melt a little butter and put on it. For those, we just basically pop up a whole bowl and everybody can do what they want with it. We have that's part of the trays of seasonings from Dollar Tree and Walmart, is we can season it up. We can make it sweet. We can make it savory. We can have it plain. We can have it highly buttered, whatever people want. But we'll do this part of it, and then we'll let people design their popcorn the way they want it, and everybody seems to enjoy that.
All right, guys, if you want some homemade popcorn seasonings, our Dining on a Dime cookbook, 25% off right now in the description below. One of the 1,200 recipes and tips, well, not one, like 10 of the 12 recipes and tips, are popcorn seasonings and kettle corn in our Dining on a Dime Volume 1. The link is in the description below for you to go check them out on our website. Mike put them also in the comments there for you to check out.
One of the things I do, I don't want people to think that we don't have sweet treats from time to time, but they are kind of metered out a little bit, just simply to, you know, for people to take care of their own issues with like glucose. But I go after all the holidays, and I look particularly for hard candies, and I look for dark chocolate. It tends to have a little bit less carbs in it, and it just seems to fit the bill for what we need to have. And it's just something that I have done for years, is just go see what's available after the holidays. Sometimes I do well, sometimes there's nothing.
Okay, now before we get to the next thing, I wanted to show you real quick. So right here, you have so many food allergies. So I went and looked up our Dining on a Dime gluten-free, dairy-free edition. And here's what I found in our cookbook. You can make without eggs and dairy and gluten. You can make granola bars, no-bake fudge cookies, apple crisp, peach crisp, Ellie's 1-minute chocolate cake, hot fudge lava cake, berry pie filling, applesauce candy orange pills, 2-ingredient fudge, caramels, haystacks, chocolate-covered pretzels, mounds, marshmallow bonbons, vinegar candy, apple oatmeal bars, baked apples, fried apples, fruit dipped in chocolate, red Jell-O salad, popcorn balls, caramel corn, rice pudding, frozen chocolate, bananas. Whew. Those are all a few of the things that you can make. So what I would do is, because you keep saying that you wanted higher protein, don't focus on making the desserts higher protein. Focus on eating your dessert with your dinners, okay? So what I would do is cut out, let's say you're having a roast for dinner. So instead of having roast and potatoes, I would have roast and vegetables like broccoli, and then have the dessert as your carbohydrate. And that's how you get the higher protein to counteract those desserts. And that's how I would rethink, instead of trying to add more protein to your desserts. You're not going to be able to do that if you can't eat nuts, dairy, or eggs. You're just not going to be able to do that. So what you need to focus on is cutting the carbs from your meal and then eating your dessert as your carb with that meal with the higher protein, if that is the way you need to go. So Annie, I am super impressed. Guys, if you have questions, please post them in the description, and I will get to questions just a moment. But Annie is going to receive a $100 gift card to our store. Thank you so much, Annie, for showing your pantry. I hope that was helpful for you. And I appreciate how thorough you are. And I would love to have an update in a few months after you have not been shopping for a few months, And your husband and sons are going to hold you to it. I know they are, because they're probably hollering at you to rest anyway. No getting in the car while they go walking around. You take it easy and get healed up. And then when our books come, you can sit and rest and look through our books and mark recipes you want to start using when you are feeling better to make all that bean dipping. Get it started. Okay. While Mike is getting me questions and you guys put questions in there, we've had a lot of people ask me about my garden. So I thought I would show you real quick while the questions are coming in. Some of my garden here.
I didn't know you had all these cantaloupes.
Well, I didn't either.
You didn't either? Where did they come from?
So I had cantaloupe here last year and they tasted so nasty I didn't grow any. But apparently one went to seed and that came up, and I thought it was cucumbers because I had planted cucumbers in here and they didn't take. And it ended up being a cantaloupe.
From last year.
Yeah.
So
I'm not real enthusiastic because last year they tasted awful, but we'll see. Try again.
We can feed them to the livestock then?
Sure. I'll throw them over the neighbor's fence for chickens.
Kill a chicken. But we'll try one first.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try it, but first of all, I don't know if they're going to get ripe before it freezes. They might, but last year I had some ripe ones and they were nasty. I mean, they were just flat out nasty.
Like sandy or something?
They just tasted like dirt.
This is an interesting shaped one.
Yes, it's two that went on at once and grew together.
Oh, that's interesting. The reaction.
All right, so this is my garden, guys. This is the big vegetable garden. Remember the raised beds we put in for $30 last year? I've got squash. People don't like me saying squash. Right there. So I thought I had planted some zucchinis, but apparently I planted all yellow squash. Much to my dismay, but that's okay. Oh,
Wherever could you get zucchini this time of year?
I don't know. So I'm actually having to beg zucchini off of people, believe it or not, which is kind of funny. And
You're not just leaving it randomly in the car?
no, not yet.
You chuck it in the back of the pickup?
No kidding. Okay, and then this is my tomato bucket, and as you can see, prolific tomatoes. I planted these here temporarily while my strawberries are getting started. So, yeah.
Is this that yellowish variety?
This is the orange. Which, actually, these ones are better than the yellows. Actually, these are really good. I don't know what these are. Does anybody know what these tomatoes are called? Because these were another freebie that I didn't get labeled. I don't know, but they're really delicious. Okay. Oh my goodness. And for those of you asking, here's a couple of shots of my garden. All right, here are my zinnias, guys, in the front. Made a new arbor out of doors. And here is my arbor all decorated. I got the metal roof for free off of Upcycle here, our Facebook marketplace type thing, and they were getting rid of all this metal. So I really wanted metal for the roof. So I waited about 2 months and I finally found somebody getting rid of it. And so I decorated, and this is what I see out my big picture window. I'm so excited. I absolutely love it. And here it is at night with my lantern. Isn't that cool? And here is my tower with my watering and my petunias. All these petunias, guys, these are the ones that I got 12 for $1, remember, in July at the end of the season. And so I planted them, and this is all of my petunias I got in there. And Then remember my igloo planter, guys. Remember the $3 I spent for it? Here it is with the geraniums. Isn't that pretty? I was so super excited that turned out. I did not know if it was going to turn out, but I absolutely love that. $3 was a good deal for my antique cooler. And there's more of the petunias. And there's my scarecrows I got for, I think they were 20 cents last year. I can't remember. And there's my garden sign I got for $1 at a garage sale this summer when I was off. And in the background is my wheelbarrow with all of my pumpkins that I got. I think I paid 2 cents each for all of those little pumpkins. I was super excited for that sale last year. And some of my decorations, looking out my window there in the front yard. This is where you enter into our house. There's my pumpkin, my barrel of pumpkins. There's an old spreader, an old garden spreader, vintage 1950s garden fertilizer spreader. I put petunias in. I got that for free. I made the pumpkins in the background there. Here's my zinnias and my old gate from the other side. And here's my black-eyed Susan. These are the black-eyed Susan, guys, that I sold for $3 or for $5. And would you believe I made $350 off of all of these black-eyed Susans? I couldn't believe it. So I sold them on Facebook. So I paid for all of my gardening stuff. My gardening stuff didn't come close to $350 this year. But, well, actually, maybe it did. I don't know if you saw in the background, but they had soil on clearance last week, 2 weeks ago. And for bags that were $20, they were on clearance for $5. So I got me 20 of those bags of soil. So I probably spent that much now, but that's for next year. So there's my zinnias again and more black-eyed Susans. Guys, I have this many black-eyed Susans probably 3 more times in my garden, all around the back and on that hill there and down and around and everything. So I have tons of them. So if anybody's in Sheridan and you need black-eyed Susans, give me a holler. I've got a few.
Hook you up.
We'll hook you up.
It's like the Sheridan Botanical Gardens.
The Sheridan Botanical Garden. So this is what I see out of my kitchen window right there. And here's my front porch with my little scarecrows that I got for super cheap. More of my petunias on clearance. There's my fall decorations getting set up there. And that is my coleus that I overwintered from last year. I got one on each side of my house, the backyard with my planters. Remember my planters I got for $100, guys? I got 8 of these planters, and that was $100 for all of them. And there's the plants in the end of my deck. And there's my coleus that I saved over from last year. And there's my zinnias with the view to the pond in our backyard. And that is my garden for this year. So I hope you guys liked it. I had several people ask. Gina wants to know, do you get wasps? Yep, we do.
We hunt them down and kill them
we hunt them
ruthlessly.
We hunt them down and kill them. Yes, we do. We hunt them down and kill them all the time. All right, guys, if you have questions. Also, we've had several people say, oh, Bible questions. Guys, will you do Bible questions? We're not dedicating shows to Bible questions, but if you have them, I will answer them like at the end of our shows right now. So if you have some, we are happy to answer them. Let me go through. Mary says, you are my YouTube creator friends. You guys are like my extended family, even though you don't know me from Adam. Well, that is very nice. So thank you. I'm glad we can be your YouTube friends, Mary. And Kathy says, hello from our neighboring state in Utah. Hello. Tammy says, I'm eating what we have and what my neighbor brings me, fresh and frozen food and dairy like cheese, yogurt. I don't drive and I find anyone to bring me shopping. Well, there you go. So that's great that your neighbor will bring you all those things. I think that's wonderful. Wanda wants to know, isn't butter dairy? And if so, wouldn't butter Crisco also be dairy? So yes and no. So butter is dairy, but her entire family is not dairy free, just some members of the family. So that's why she does have some butter and some non-dairy butter. Butter Crisco does not actually have butter in it. It has, and I don't think it has milk in it. Let me look and see real quick before I say that. But I think it only has butter flavoring. Crisco, sorry. I think it only has butter flavoring in it. Let me check and see the ingredients here real quick. And where's the ingredients? There is no butter in butter flavor Crisco. It is all just flavored ingredients. Oops, my hair has gone awry there. Sorry about that. Okay, let's see. Next. Mel says we keep our Crisco in the fridge and freezer. It makes it last longer. Yes, it does. That is a great tip if you don't use it up very quick. And Tanya says her pantry puts mine to shame. Yeah, she has a wonderful pantry. I think she's doing a great job. That's why I'm like, girlfriend, do not shop for at least 2 months. If it wasn't Christmas sales coming up, I would tell her to wait until February or March. But, you know, I know Christmas sales are coming up. So Culture says, are we losers if we don't have a pantry? No, you are not a loser if you do not have a pantry. I have lived in teensy tiny houses where I did not have pantries, so it's okay. Kimberly says, just find a used cabinet on Marketplace or garage sale to put in your kitchen. Yes, for a pantry. That works really well. Amazing Grace says she has our gluten-free, dairy-free cookbooks, and she bought extras in case her daughter wanted one later. That is great. Thank you so much. Wanda says, my grandma had an old-fashioned pantry that was a room with shelves with 3 sides and a curtain over the front. Yep, very good. Yep, I totally get it. Magna says, I look at sales circulars, then make a meal plan and shop. Very good. That's a great way to do it. And Allie liked the tilting the fridge idea. Good. Kimberly, buy what's on sale and then meal plan. Yep, that's pretty much the way I would do it if you don't have a stocked pantry and freezer. Shannon says, I used to meal plan, then after I don't know how many years I watched you guys, it finally clicked that it's easier to shop the sales and plan the meals that way and save. Very good. Yeah, I'm totally shocked at how many people think, oh, I want to eat this week or just today. And they'll go shopping every day or every couple of days. And I'm like, wow, that has to be super expensive. Naomi says, I live in an apartment and have an apartment fridge. Should I buy an extra freezer? I'm considering it, but does it pull a lot of electricity? No, it does not pull a lot of electricity. I think it's like $10 or $20 a year. And so you would have more than that in savings in meat alone. So I think it would be fine, especially if it's an apartment-sized refrigerator. All right, let's see. Everybody's liking the designated shelves in the freezer. Yes, that is how I do it. Now, I'm not going to sit there and say that I don't put anything else on those shelves ever. So like right now with I think it was with my ham, I have some applesauce, but we don't eat a lot of pork. So my ham shelf is not always constantly full. So I'll put extra things there, but that is a great way so that you can just look and see without having to keep track of every single thing you take in and out of the freezer. Beverly says, I use stackable plastic baskets in the chest freezer. Very good. Yep, that works great. Sandra, are we going to see your new kitchen? Yes, I already did a video on that. Like, when did we do the video? In June, I think, is when the kitchen reveal was. May or June. Yeah. And so we did a big kitchen reveal then. So you can just go back in the videos and you'll find it there. Naomi says, what is a good price for bacon? My Kroger is having Oscar Mayer bacon for 12 ounces for $4.99. That is not a good price. No, that's not a good price at all. I get the off-brand bacon for $2. I don't know what city you live in or what type of grocery stores you have. So you'll just have to watch your grocery flyers and see when bacon is at its lowest. Just keep track. And then when you find it at its lowest, stock up. But you can find it cheaper than $4.99 probably. Nancy says, Tara's freezer organization plan works so much better than meal planning. Good. I am so glad that is helping you. Nancy says Aldi has a double return if something isn't good, replacement or your money back. Very good. Kimberly, I would get those guys to work helping you organize. Yes, your husband and sons, I'm sure, Annie, would love to help you get organized. Just sit in a chair for 5 or 10 minutes and just do one little shelf at a time. Not that you're that disorganized, but it's basically just putting things up and getting them reorganized. And if you just really, really are feeling stressed about it, have them go with you and clean out that small freezer and just put your fruits and vegetables in that small freezer and then move the meats over to the big freezer. And that in itself will help you just get started. Let's see. Jess says, I'm a royal tightwad. Learned as a little girl not to waste. Yes, I totally agree. Kimberly says, this is where being a single mother came in handy for my children. My boys could do laundry and cook and microwave a meal by the age of 11. Very good. Yep. Today, they're both excellent cooks and their fiancés are thrilled to do the housework. So I have to say, I totally failed in this. None of my kids wanted to learn to cook. So I was like, well, I'm not going to force you. You'll figure it out when you become an adult. So I didn't want to learn to cook. Mom tried to teach me and I didn't want to learn either. So Annie says her boys are wonderful helper. She just really feeling cagey. I totally get it. That's why I'm saying, get a chair or something and sit down and just do one shelf or one section of the freezer or something. That way you'll feel like you're accomplishing something without overextending yourself and slowing down your recovery. Mike, you should be acting. You did do theater in high school, didn't you?
Yeah, and also in Idaho.
Yep, and in Idaho you did too. Yep.
What was that, the county fair or something? Oh, it was
yeah.
His birthdays.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Elaine says stores count on the fact that many people don't know their prices well. Exactly. They really do. Yep. Nikki says, I'm learning a lot from Tara about eating what you already have and getting only what you need. Very good. Yes, I totally believe in having a stocked pantry and freezer and fridge, but I'm noticing a trend that people aren't using what they have for their stockpile because they're getting overwhelmed with it. If you are feeling overwhelmed with it, you need to step back, stop buying, use what you have, get yourself caught up, and then go ahead and start again. Hey, E. Weissbaum says planned overs, not leftovers. Yes. Oh, my ET says I asked about some breakfast sausages being out of stock. So they substituted another brand. Got a great deal on the sausage. Good deal. Can you send me the next ones? Annie says we call leftovers free meal. Exactly. Yes. Kathy says best cookbooks of all. She has all of our recipe books. Thank you, Kathy. You've been with us forever. We love you. Volume 1, Volume 2, 25% off. In the description below, guys, they can be used separately, totally different recipes, but we put them together as an encyclopedia. For all the recipes in the blue one is what I couldn't fit in the red one because this is almost 600 pages, guys. So it's an encyclopedia. It really is. And then our gluten-free, dairy-free edition. If you're like me, these are recipes. You're not going to have any desserts that taste like sand. I guarantee it. I use them all. And I don't like gluten-free food that tastes like sand. It's gross. Okay. Annie wants to know how I dry my peppers. So all I do is when so I had a cousin that used to get a lot of jalapenos and then I would grow them also. I just cut them up, took the seeds out because I don't like mine super hot. And then I just put them on a cookie tray. If you have a dehydrator, you could do a dehydrator. But I just put them on a cookie tray, 170 degrees or the lowest temperature it'll go in the oven. If it won't go below 200, I would just turn the light on in the oven and just leave the light on and just let it go overnight and they will dehydrate. And then I just put them in a blender and zap them with the blender. Jill says she stumbled on some dumpster dived sealed bag of chickpeas. Turned it into 500 mLs. I don't know how 500 mLs is. Let's see what that is in, let's see.
It's a half liter.
Well, no, that's not going to help me. 2 cups. Very good. So she got 10 cups. Very good. Of hummus out of that. That is great. How long, Elizabeth wants to know if you don't have an Instapot to cook the beans. The link is in the description below, so I will direct you down there. Nancy says, all the cookbooks are amazing. Thank you. She uses the gluten-free, dairy-free all the time, and the other ones really often. Yes, you can still use these for years. I used these cookbooks, guys, before the gluten-free, dairy-free edition came out, so you can use them. Bounty in the Badlands says, have you considered stand-up comedy, my schnooky wookums? Have you considered that? I told him he should start it. I told him he should start a comedy channel.
She told me I should start a comedy channel. I was just thinking, could I keep it up all the time?
He's always doing one-liners all the time.
Nice.
I hesitated. Sorry. Yes, you're amusing to me. Oh, let's see. Okay. Bounty in Badlands says my son was on a debate team in high school. Debate team trip in high school. She sent a huge care package of juice, chips, sandwiches, etc. He did have money for breakfast and meal on the road, but not for the 2 days he was there. He was so embarrassed, but he was a hit with the rest of the kids at night at the hotel. Your mom is the coolest. He never complained again on the care package. It was very good. I know. Now it's considered a treat. I totally get it. I totally get it. Let's see. Annie says her husband is looking at her and laughing. Good. So I want an update from hubby that you were taking it easy and getting healed up. All right. Everyone's telling you to get well soon. So yes, we hope you get well soon. Lynette, thank you. I got my garden gloves at Walmart. Deborah, do you fertilize the gardens often? So I try to fertilize everything about once a month during the summer. So yep, I do. Elizabeth, what magic do you use to make them grow so healthy? It's called watering. Seriously. I mean, I literally water every single day from June through August. It's every single day. May, well, we can't really plant until around June 1st. Mother's Day possibly, but pretty much from when I plant until August, it's every day. Now it has slowed down. Now that it's below 80, it's every other day. If it's 75 degrees or above, I water every day. If it's under 75 degrees, then I do every other day or every 3 days. What sweetener do you like for your tea, Tanya? I like the monk fruit now. Someone sent me, which I very much appreciate. Thank you. A monk fruit tester, and that was really good. So that's the one I've been using. Elizabeth says they seem to have spread so beautifully. I would love to spend an afternoon just looking at flowers. Thank you. Mike says it looks like the botanical gardens of Sheridan. Yes. What's so funny about that is I was thinking, wow, man, I just wish I could plant so many flowers. We have an acre and a half and I just have all this space I can plant. But yeah.
Next year,
we'll see. Thank you. Everyone's loving my decorations on my garden. Thank you, guys. I am going to wait until after Thanksgiving to top off her stash, says Trio. I can never say which one. Claire Trio. And she also says, I need that on t-shirts. Stop the sales, then plan the meals. Yeah, no kidding. Beverly says the honey garlic chicken. Yep. Volume 2 has become an instant staple in her house. She cubes the chicken before she freezes it, so all I have to do is pull it out and thaw it the night before. My family loves it. Oh, that's great.
I love that.
I haven't made that forever. We need to make that. Yes. Maybe I'll make that tomorrow. I haven't made it for a long time. Bounty Badland says, next one's, my husband and brother-in-law make jokes every time they ask for something, and I say, yep, I got to go shopping and run to my backup pantry. I swear they try and stump me. That's funny. Teresa says, I'm waiting to buy a freezer. What would be best, chest or upright? Now, chest uses more power than upright uses more power than a chest, but I would buy a chest anytime. No. I would buy an upright over a chest anytime. Even though it uses slightly more, and we're talking slightly more, probably $5 more a year. it is not worth the hassle of bending over and digging into a chest freezer to have one. So if you have the option, I would get a standing freezer over a chest freezer. It is just so much easier to keep organized. It is just so much easier to handle and clean. And I just would do it. So yeah. Oh, and back to the watering on the gardens, guys. We live in Wyoming. We never get rain here, like hardly ever. So watering is imperative for me. So like I can't go more than one day or my stuff would die. So Katie says the same. My husband is grateful. She got the Dining on a Dime cookbooks. Yay. She literally learned how to cook from them. My mom worked a lot growing up and I never learned it. That is great. That is exactly why I wrote the cookbooks, because I realized 25 years ago when I was taught, even though I didn't learn how to cook, I realized Mike and I on $6 an hour, we're not going to be able to go out to eat every day. Even if hamburgers were only $1 back then, we still wouldn't be able to afford to go out to eat. So I had to learn how to cook. So after I had learned how to cook, I realized, wait a minute, this is so much easier than it seems. People are making this way more complicated than they need to. And I was on I was on chat groups, and people were like asking me all these questions. And I said, well, no, you just do this and this. And I was like, well, man, I need to write a book about this because it'd be so much easier. And then I read the Tightwad Gazette, and she said, everybody keeps wanting me to write a frugal cookbook, but I don't like cooking and I don't want to do it. And I'm like, well, I could do that. So that's how it came about. So that's what I did. Tanya says, when you freeze milk in the cardboard cartons, do you still remove some of the milk? I don't. And I haven't had one explode, so I don't. So Jackie says, the only good thing a chest freezer is good for is folding laundry. I know. That's pretty much my 2 cents too. So yeah, I would agree with that. Bounty says, I would prefer my chest freezers over an upright. Got rid of my upright for a second chest freezer. Yeah, I hate chest freezers. They're just too hard to deal with. You're always digging through and all of that. So Debbie says, I came in the chat just in time to see your garden. Wow, so lovely. I ordered the gluten-free, dairy-free cookbook right here. Thank you so much for ordering that. 25% off in the description below. Christine, I was in that chat group with you years ago. No way. Really? Wow. So that was 6. Next year this year it's 26 years ago. You've been with me that long? Wow, that's pretty cool. Wow. Huh. Jill says, except this last spring and summer, they get rain all the time. No watering lawns. Oh, yeah, we have to water our lawn every day. But, Christina has Not Just Beans, the original version of our diet. So if you have Not Just Beans, that's the first version of Dining on a Dime. We realized nobody got the name Not Just Beans, so we changed it to Dining on a Dime 5 years in. But that is cool. You got to collect. If I die, you could sell that on eBay, I'm sure. You'll make $10,000. No. I'm just kidding. Okay, let's see. Do we have anything else real quick? Susan says she falls into the chest freezer too much. I know, that's my problem. It hurts my back to fall. I fell with Dave when he was a baby. And so I can't do stuff like that. Yeah. Michelle says we won't get as much color this year. The weather has been really dry here. Oh, that's sad. That's one thing I've always wanted to do is go see the colors change.
They're beautiful up on the mountain. We should go see them quick.
My bucket list. That's the only thing I've ever had on my bucket list is to see the colors change. And we saw them kind of a little bit in Michigan Michigan? Is that where we went? That one year. But it was at the very end. It was the 1st of November. So it was at the very end. So we got to see some, but it wasn't like, wasn't like the massive amounts. So hello from Japan. Wow. Thursday morning. Let's see. It would be Thursday morning there, isn't it? Oh, wow. That's great.
This is up on the mountain.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
We should go check it out.
Yeah.
We should go Sunday. We could go Sunday to the mountains. All right, guys. The links are in the description below. livingonadime.com. Thank you so much for staying with us. We will see you guys next time. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and share this with everyone you can. We really appreciate it.